good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. We've made it to the end of the week and our last news of the week has no doom scrolling. We're going to tell you all the news you need to hear about so you don't have to worry about it. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look at our stories right before the show starts. We just got caffeine in our body and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those Friday headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Friday's news dump. Europe is blowing up riverbeds as an extreme drought wreaks havoc on its economy. And related to that, world food prices soared a 3-year high amid escalating conflicts and extreme weather.
Yeah, bad news. And more troubling news in America. The president's helicopter nearly flew into commercial air traffic a couple of days ago. That's encouraging, right? No, but more encouraging news, Trump-backed House candidate loses to Michigan and Tennessee.
Dun, dun, dun. Portugal's roads are... Portugal's far from reducing road deaths. In 10 years has stalled and moved away from the European average of safety. Plus, Russia quietly buries 2 generals as mystery deepens around deadly Moscow explosion. Was it from Putin? Was it from Ukraine? Was it a third actor?
Oh, you probably shouldn't start wars. How about that? And other news, we are an update on the Spokane fires as a man has been charged and he's going to be evaluated for mental competency. Okay. He's obviously nuts. And guardrail guy went viral for do not damage. This is a warning to everybody. Whatever you do not damage those flock cameras. Leave the flock cameras alone. It is illegal to damage them and do not damage them. Do not, whatever you do, damage cameras. We insist you do not damage them.
In my culture news, streaming of Seeing the Colosseum After Dark. Italy extends opening hours at major cultural sites.
Yikes! And it is National Water Balloon Day, yes. Go surprise somebody who doesn't know that it's National Water Balloon Day. They will soon find out. On Friday, August 7th, what are your best days to get saturated with water? August 7th, 2028. 2028? I'm in the future. Just ignore me. I'm in the future. It is August 7th, 2026 for all you earthlings on Before Coffee. I have mastered space and time travel. Sorry.
Transporting yourself to when this meteor comes down in April of 2029. So if we go to July of 2028, you only have like 6 months left to live, or according to our doomsday calendar.
And you can't go too far into the future. You can't come back. That's the secret of time travel, right? That's why a lot of it's fear. Right? You go incrementally. Right? You gotta go incrementally. Let me go to the year 3036, and you go to 3036, and Earth is just a ball of molten.
Yeah, I think that's actually really smart, because you want to go a few ahead to see if anything's changed. You know, like suddenly everyone has 3 eyes. You don't want to go all the way to 3000, and then there's 3-eyed people, and then everyone's gonna know you're not supposed to be there. You know. Everyone has 3 eyes. Who are you? You know, so you want to make sure you go ahead in time until so you can adjust.
Right.
To be a chameleon. Yeah.
Right. I'll use the analogy of transferring money. Right. I found a new way to transfer money. I just transfer one bank account to another. Let me send you that $5,000 I owe you. Hold on a second. We've never tried this before. Send me $1 and see if it works. Otherwise, that 5,000 might just vanish in other regions of the financial institutions of the world. You'll never get it back. So yeah, it's the same thing. Time travel, they'll go somewhere you can't return.
Google does that, for example.
Yeah.
When you add a card to Google Wallet, they're like, let me make sure this is a real card, and then they take away $1 and give it back.
Yeah. Oh, morning.
Let's go to our first segue.
I tell you what, I think I'm sharper in the morning than I am the rest of the day. Because the rest of the day, I'm just, I don't want to do nothing.
I think it's the 3 cups of coffee you have instantly to boost your brain.
True. Probably and everything.
As we read from the that story last week or whatever on Good Tuesday, you should have multiple cups of coffee. I'm also drinking 2 cups instead of 1 because I don't want to get hypertension, actually. So that doesn't. Maybe I already have it. I don't know.
Hey,
my first segue.
You don't gotta tell her. You don't gotta tell a drunk to have another drink, so you ain't gotta tell me. Anyway.
Our first segue is non sequitur for my stories about Europe and the economy, and it's sorry, only bad news. Not only bad news today, but non sequitur.
It's not all bad news.
It's not all bad news, but this is all bad news in this section anyway. This is from Sam Meredith on CNBC. An aerial view shows a former eel fishing boat covered in dry mud among low water banks of the Rhine near Neuss, Western Germany. The drought in Europe is so severe that it is jeopardizing countries' economic growth and forcing them to take extreme measures like blowing up riverbeds. Gripped by the summer of weather extremes, Romania recently shut down its sole working nuclear reactor cooled by the Danube for the first time, with Bucharest even deploying naval forces that carry out underwater detonations to improve water flow. Images published on Monday, which was the 3rd of August, showed that Romania's navy blasting rocks in controlled explosion in the Izvorele village as part of a push to divert a high number of water towards the cooling systems of the Cernavodă nuclear power plant. Lower water levels on the Danube have also threatened to close Hungary's Paks nuclear plant, which supplies about 40% of the country's electricity, and for Serbia to cut hydropower generation. In Germany, the water levels on the Rhine River, which is a river that goes all the way to the Atlantic, it's a very long river, is a crucial in Europe's economic heartland, having fallen to their lowest levels in nearly 150 years. You can see why Europe is so pro-environment right now, because they need to. Right, this is them trying to reverse time right now, posing a risk to the German economy and further disrupting supply chains. The water level at the Kaub, a key choke point for vessel transitions to southern Germany and Switzerland, fell to 24 centimeters on August 3rd and August 4th, reflecting the lowest level since records began in 1880, with forecasts of even lower levels towards the end of the week, according to the official data compiled by the ETH Zurich. That's far below the critical level of 78 centimeters at the Kaub gauge for navigation on the Rhine. It is, what would that be? I can't do math right. 5. It's 50 centimeters lower than its critical level. That's how low it is. But cargo barges must be less heavily loaded, and freight transport costs and lower water surcharges rises sharply. Major rivers like the Rhine and Danube are critical trade corridors and a source of water for industries and energy generation. So when water levels fall, the effects extend far beyond the waterways themselves. Liz Sakoshia, water security head lead at the World Resource Institute, told the CNBC by email. And then there's a picture of somebody setting off explosive charges in the Danube. We've already seen this happen. Nuclear power plants in Hungary, Romania, and France, along with hydropower facilities in Serbia, have already had to reduce electricity generation because there isn't enough water for cooling or driving turbines, increasing the risk of blackouts and costly electricity imports, Sakoshia said. Why don't we start using, I know this is a crazy idea, but you know how we have water-cooled systems? It's technically not water, it's actually an oil that is cooler to cool down a computer. Why don't we just use like a cooling oil to cool down these nuclear power plants? I know it's probably too late now to change an entire system, but like we
Yeah,
should be
you
looking
can
for
also-
alternatives of cooling that isn't water at this point.
Hot water can be used to create more electricity. You know,
Hmm.
I'm just saying.
Hmm.
I mean, that's how the cooling is what causes the turbines to turn. The steam
Along the
created.
Danube, low water levels have prevented farmers from shipping their crops and stopping cruise ships from reaching ports such as Budapest. These are early examples of how increasingly unreliable water supplies can ripple through the economy, affecting trade, energy security, supply chains, and local businesses, she added. The issue shines light on a critically important environmental issue: water scarcity. The issue is especially acute across southern Europe, where around 30% of population is known to be situated in areas with permanent water stress, when water demand exceeds the available supply. In economic terms, the effects of low water levels on the Rhine could be enough to dampen German gross domestic product, GDP, by up to 0.2%, which, as yet again, in economics, a low percentage point is still a lot of money. In the third quarter, according to Stefan Kuss, professor of economics at the Kiel Institute for World Economy, IFW. Since water levels are unlikely to rise sharply back above the critical threshold in early August, transport capacity is likely to remain affected by low water levels for some time in the coming month as well, Kuss told CNBC by email. The loss in value added can be roughly estimated at a 1 to 2 billion euros, or $1.15 billion to 2.3 billion. Damn. In the third quarter, he added. Felix Schmidt, senior economist at the private German bank Berenberg, said companies in Europe's traditional growth engine had likely not been caught by surprise by the Rhine's low water levels because climate change means this has become a recurring challenge. I mean, you have to be an idiot at this point to be like, oh, the economy is going to be affected by climate change? It's like, okay, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid. Businesses have prepared by either stocking up on inventories or diverting the transport of some goods via rail or road. Although Schmidt acknowledges the freight rates were currently going through roof, exacerbating inflationary worries. Given that Germany is growing very little, obviously if we go 0.1 instead of 0.2, then this means we lose half of that growth. Exactly. If you want to frame it like that, Schmidt told CNBC in a phone interview. The German economy expanded by only 0.2% in the second quarter compared to the previous 3-month period that followed an upwardly revised 0.4 quarter-on-quarter increase in the first quarter. So they've rose half of what they wanted or they expected, and they could drop all the way down by the fourth quarter to half of that too, but from 0.2 to 0.1. Schmidt described drying rivers as just one expression of Germany's economic struggle amid the intensifying climate crisis. Water levels are obviously one thing. We have had this heat wave in Germany a couple of weeks back, affecting big parts of Northern Europe, which brings down productivity. We have infrastructure which gets destroyed by heat. We have energy supply which is affected, like the nuclear plants being shut down in Hungary, France, and Switzerland, Schmidt said. We also have the catastrophic development like fires sweeping now in Southern Europe, so it's affecting the economy in many ways, he added. Of course, that's not the only reason to care about this, because you know what also affects climate crisis also affects life. People are dying, animals are dying, plants are dying, you know, all of this stuff. Everyone needs water, not just the economy. So at some point you're going to have to choose the economy or your life. And I think most people are going to choose their life over, you know, if I can transport my goods over the water. That's my story about that. Talk about anything.
Part of dystopia, again, is us running out of water and fighting over resources. Don't that part. My non sequitur would be talking about the Colorado River and Lake Powell, which the federal government just decided that people having electricity big cities is more important than the fish we're going to kill by closing off all the water and making the Colorado River basically a trickle. Just a tiny little trickle.
A dry seabed, really.
Just, I know this wasn't about hydroelectric dams, but this is a problem in America, is hydroelectric dams serve no purpose anymore. They serve absolutely no purpose. We can generate power with wind and solar, especially out in a desert like Lake Powell. Nothing but wind and sun out there. But we're going to use water, which is very precious, the most precious resource in the desert. Anyway, Lake Powell, here's a statistic, loses 460 million gallons of water to evaporation. That's fresh water, by the way, to evaporation. And that's 700 Olympic swimming pools every single day. 700 Olympic swimming pools go up into the sky and get rain, be turned into rain somewhere that doesn't need rain. Yeah. So once again, you're evaporating water. You're not saving water. Moving water does not evaporate, or it does not evaporate fast anyway. So that's why rivers are better. And again, the water eventually ends up going into aquifers anyway, and you can just collect it there because it doesn't evaporate from aquifers. So geologists will tell you, and every geologist you ever talk to in the history of the geology will tell you that.
Oh my God!
Large lakes are the worst way to store water. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Completely true. And of course, you have all of this water that is being evaporated in the sky. It's probably getting delivered to the ocean, which turns into salt water, and then you have less fresh water to drink. Right.
And another component of dystopia is a stupid population, and we have those people in this country. They blame the government for what they're not doing and turning a blind eye to what the government's actually doing, right? It's like, the government's changing the weather with secret space aircraft and blah, 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 blah. And they go in these little freaking tangents about shit they can't prove, right? When in actuality, the government is fucking you over. This is another example of it. You won't even vote. You keep voting for these guys. The same people just keep voting for these guys. Well, I know they're scarce resources and we're wasting them, but at least somebody's making money at the top. But where's the logic? At least, hey, I gave up my voting rights. I gave up my right for collective bargaining, but at least somebody's getting rich at the top. The logic is this boggles my fucking mind.
There is no logic. Our next story is about, speaking of rich people getting richer and poor people getting poorer, this is from Gus Trompiz on The Independent. World food prices surged in July, reaching their highest level in over 3 years. So this is the whole globe, not just Europe, not just the US, but I'm sure people in both places have already felt the effects of this, driven by a combination of adverse weather and escalating conflicts in the Gulf and Black Sea regions. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, reported today, on the 7th of August. The FAO Food Price Index, which tracks monthly changes in basket of internationally traded food commodities, averaged 131.1 points in July, up from 130 in June, and the highest since January of 2023. Which was in the middle of the pandemic. The FAO's chief economist recently warned of renewed period of food inflation, citing ongoing conflicts in Iran and Ukraine, alongside the El Nino weather phenomena, as creating a perfect storm of increased costs and reduced crop yields. Reminder, Ukraine is also the food basket of Europe, and most of its fields are full of landmines, the most evil invention humans have ever made. A 3.4% month-to-month rise in the FAO's cereal price index drove July's trend, largely fueled by a 5.8% jump in wheat prices. Concerns over Black Sea export disruptions and heat damage to crops in key producing regions impacted the wheat market. So half my crops are bad, the other half is getting stuck in a port somewhere, and good luck buying wheat. The FAO's vegetable oil index rose 2%, reaching its highest level since June of 22. Higher crude oil prices amid escalation in the Iran conflict and strong demand for biodiesel support palm and soy oil prices, though rapeseed and sunflower oil actually declined. So I guess if you want which vegetable oil you should be buying, rapeseed and sunflower oil. Though I think rapeseed is usually commonly not bought. But sunflower oil, that's what we use here in the Netherlands, sunflower oil. Sugar prices rose 5.6% on weather concerns in Europe and Asia and expectations of stronger ethanol demand in Brazil. So, corn in Brazil. And this is also great advice for people who want to sell any of this stuff, I guess. If you happen to have a corn farm, you might want to sell to Brazil, I guess. In contrast, meat prices fell 2.8% from record high in June. Poultry Pig and bovine meat prices declined, though sheep meat prices reached a record high. I didn't know there's so many people who eat sheep meat. Amid tight export supplies in Oceania. Well, that is true. Australia actually has a huge, thriving mutton, I guess is the word for mutton industry. Dairy prices fell 0.7%. So dairy fell, sheep fell, but all the other meat rose by 2.8. Sugar rose by 5. Yeah. FAO's overall food price index for July was slightly above the previous 3-year high in April. The latest reading was nonetheless 18.2% below its March 2022 peak that followed Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, because that's when the breadbasket got shut forever. So, we were growing March. Oh, actually, I guess that would have been around maybe planting time. Yeah, they would have been planting their produce in the fields in Ukraine. Unfortunately, all those people had to start defending their country. So there's still farmers trying to work, but a lot of those farms ended up getting, tank mines, land mines put into them. It's like, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to lose my leg for a piece of wheat. Food prices have been on this rise for some time in the UK, but the public warned back in April that costs would rise by 10% this year as direct consequences of the Iran war. The Food and Drink Federation, FDF, which represents 12,000 food and drink manufacturers, hiked its inflation forecast for the year from 3.2% to between 9 and 10%. That is it. Yet again, economic standards, 1% is a huge leap. So, 6%, a 6 to 7% increase from what they expected is a crazy, unimaginable price hike.
Yeah.
All right, at least Nico, good luck with selling your corn, and thank you for your red flag acorn. Anyways, your non sequitur. Sorry.
My non sequitur. Do I have my mic on? I do. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Do they have actual subsidies there? Do they subsidize like the United States? I know what we do here.
The only one I can think of right now is that there is a dairy subsidy for, all this cheese that the Netherlands has.
Oh, well, subsidies are tricky, right? Subsidies, they pay you, typically of subsidies, they pay you not to grow a crop, right? Because what happens if you grow too much of a crop? Their warehouses get full and the price goes way down for your crop, for one thing. You ain't going to make any money. So they give you, hey, here's $10,000. Don't plant corn this year. Don't plant it. Plant something else.
I'm not sure if that exists in Europe, but yeah. I know they do have subsidies.
There's also price supports in America, right? Like the price of milk can never go below a certain level. It just can't, because the federal government set it that way. So those things exist, and we pretend like, oh yeah, we're capitalists 100% without government interference, which is complete horseshit. It's always it's complete horseshit. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about these people with their bootstraps. Your bootstraps are paid by taxpayers, bootstrap guy.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a thing too, because of course the EU is originally an economic union, right? So a lot of the things that the EU collects money for and sends back to the member countries is to support things like agriculture. I mean, that's the reason France is such a vehement member of the EU, because they need those EU subsidies to actually run their agriculture, because France loves its agriculture.
Oh yeah, don't forget,
They're built on agriculture.
We subsidize the hell out of Israel for some reason.
Oh yeah.
We can't get free healthcare in Israel, but Israel gets it, and we give them money. I'm so confused about how we run things. It's like, it's great for Israel, isn't it? They don't have to go through a bunch of insurance to go get, and they got more doctors than we do too, by the way, by far. Anywho,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of the way people complain about poor people. Like, poor people are screwed. Poor people are just poor. They have no power. Just so you all know that. All right.
Next segue is a mixed metaphor.
We'll mix it up because we're going to talk about Stinky the Clown. Unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. Mixing the metaphors and unmixing the metaphors. About air traffic. Let's talk about air traffic. I refused to fly out of D.C. There was minutes after Trump was inaugurated, had an accident. It's no accident. No, it was no accident because Musk had just fired a bunch of air traffic controllers, and then we had an accident. But a lot of this is completely preventable. And like I said, the closest airport to me is this particular airport, which is called the DC Airport, or Reagan. For some reason they named it after Reagan. But it's like, okay, let's name it after a guy who never served in the military, never flew a plane, and was a terrible president. But whatever. The Republicans had control of Congress, and they decided to award their head fascist. So Reagan Airport was the site of a near miss a couple of days ago. This is from PBS.org. Plane takeoff during Marine One flight renews concerns about DC's busy airspace. The FAA is investigating why a commercial plane was allowed to take off the same time as Diaper Donnie's helicopter approached Reagan National Airport. The incident's again raising questions about the safety of the capital's busy airspace. It's also a dangerous airport with short runways, but whatever. They won't build a new one. I have no idea why. That is really good commercial property, Washington, D.C. You probably should build an airport somewhere in like Maryland or something and shut that down and make oodles of money on that commercial space. Did you ever think of that, man? I think you ought to consider it. It's great. I mean, it's got built-in subways running all underground and everything. As reported last night, the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating why a commercial plane was allowed to take off at the same time as the president's helicopter approached the same airport on Tuesday. That was Tuesday. The incident at Washington National Airport is again raising questions about the safety of the capital's busy airspace. It comes from nearby mid-air collision last January between a passenger jet and a military helicopter that killed 67 people. There's a sidebar about National Airport. You will see famous people there. You will see, if you recognize like congressmen, you'll see them all the time just walking through. I've seen political commentators there. I don't bother famous people. I leave them the fuck alone. Anyway, I don't care. It's not their fault they're famous in most cases. For more of this, we're joined again by the aviation correspondent, Miles O'Brien. Miles, it's always great to see you. It's an interview they did on a video. Anyway, there's your stupidity in action. I don't know if you want to give me a mixed metaphor about this, but we got another Trump-related story.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, here we're going to go into Michigan and Tennessee, which had elections this week. Trump-backed House candidate in Michigan loses to opponent who dropped out. So you can mix these two, I guess. You can mix them in a metaphor machine. There's no mystery of who Trump voters are now. The mask is off. Shall we say the hood is off? Because this is who they are. This is who you are if you support Trump. If you're thinking about support Trump, this is the group of people you are in with, and this is who they are. They are the racists. They only care about your skin color, or if your name's a little different. Oh my God, he's got a different name. He can't be American. That's Trump voters, the xenophobes, the closeted homosexuals, the pedophiles, and the racists. Let's do the Trump-backed House candidate in Michigan Michigan loses to opponent who dropped out. Trump-backed House candidate in Michigan. Candidate endorsed by Trump in Michigan primary Tuesday to an opponent had suspended his campaign. Now, you heard that right. Donald Trump endorsed a candidate, and he lost to a guy who wasn't even running anymore. Amir Hassan, a Flint native, a Navy veteran, which I don't know, the Republicans claim to like. Navy veteran. Ooh, he's in the military. Ooh, we love the military. Ooh, ooh, ooh. A former law enforcement officer. He's a cop too. Ooh, God, when can I vote? I want to vote. Ooh, he's a cop. He's a Navy veteran, and he's a Republican. Oh, I can't wait to vote. I can't wait to vote for. Oh, he's black. He's black, and his name is Amir Hassan. Oh, poor guy. He has no chance. With Trump's backing and one rival out of the race, Hassan appeared well positioned to win. He was even appeared at a rally with Trump in Milford, Michigan just last week. He even got a body slam hug from Trump. He even got to smell his diaper. Instead, he lost by double digits. Thomas Thomas J. Smith, if that is his real name, was declared the winner on Tuesday. And the funny part about this is the people that declared him a winner on the TV, like the CNNs they did not have a picture of Thomas J. Smith because he wasn't in the race anymore. They didn't have a picture of him. The guy lost to a guy without a picture. Hey, is he even a real person? He might not even be a real person. Anyway, Smith had reportedly suspended his campaign in July, if he's a real person, and endorsed a third candidate, Al Lemo, who finished third in the race, about 16%. Al Lemo did all right, even though he had no chance. Smith is a former General Motors employee and current small business owner operating Jarhead Salsa, sounds like a Marine, I guess, which is named his sons are in the Marines. Oh, he wasn't even brave enough himself. Okay, good job, guy. Which is named in honor of his 3 sons who all served in the military. Oh, he just says military. He doesn't even say Marines. I hope they were Marines, because if you're naming it Jarhead Salsa, and at least one of them made a Marine, the Marines should just sue you. I look forward to working with Speaker Mike Johnson and the entire Republican team to expand our House majority advance. Think he's America first? Yeah, it's America first. That's hilarious. What is America first about Trump? Please tell me. Well, how are we doing anything better? Anywhere. How are we better? Smith will face Democratic Rep. Kristen McDonald-Rivette in November. He will get trounced and stomped. McDonald-Rivette is seeking a second term in a battleground district labeled by Cook Political Report as lean Democratic. Cook Political Report is very conservative. They'll never call a race. They'll wait until every last vote is counted. Oh yeah, he won by 80 million votes and he went 85%, but he's a Democrat, so we aren't going to call the race. That's Cook Political Report for you. They won't call a race until it's absolutely 100% certain that every vote has been counted. Because whatever. So I don't even go by them as far as forecasting. Following his defeat, Hassan released a video statement on social media. I fell short last night and making no excuses. It was a tough race, disappointed, not defeated. Thank you for all the support. And he's going to support this stupid party that rejected him based solely on his race and his name. Once again, Trump endorsed him. There was nobody else in the race. At least the guy who won wasn't even in the race. And again, another Trump. This one's a little bit harder to explain. Rep. Andy Ogles lost his Republican primary in Tennessee. Failing a former state official primary season, I've seen unusually high number of incumbents lose. Charlie Hatcher, the former state agricultural commissioner, wrote support from prominent establishment Republicans to victory over Ogles, a controversial congressman backed by Stinky the Clown. He's a heavy favorite in the general election in a deep red district. That doesn't mean shit to me. Maybe people stay home there, Mr. I'm going to comment on the race and tell me. I hate it when they handicap the race like that, right in the middle of the article. Don't fucking tell me who's going to win. You don't fucking know. You probably thought the guy who Trump endorsed was going to win. You were wrong about that. Ogles had faced various controversies over years. He said this year that Muslims don't belong in American society, which
oh my God.
Deleted a homophobic. He deleted a homophobic social media post. I'm just going to go out and say Ogles is closeted gay. You don't make homophobic social media posts unless you're gay. That's the rules. Homophobes are gay. That's who they are. They are gay. They just cannot live with the fact that a portion of their entire psyche cannot get over the fact that they're attracted to at least one man in this world. And it really bothers them so much that they become homophobes. I can accept the fact that I'm attracted to certain men. I'm not going to act on it. It doesn't make me gay. And I'm definitely not a homophobe. I don't get freaked out.
I think everyone's bisexual. So, I mean, if we're going to say unhinged opinions.
It doesn't even matter to me. I don't even care. I have never cared about shit. It's like, whatever. You thinking about people having sex? Well, that's your problem. It ain't mine. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's your funny little stupidity of the Trump almost killing people and Trump killing 2 political careers at the same time. Woohoo!
A city's veins rerouted.
Yeah.
A garden of no seeds, racist won't water.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, racist.
You think Pierce Brosnan's attractive? I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's attractive
a racist will kill his own. he will kill his own family if they try to marry another race. That's a racist for you. And this exists in every country, not just the United States. We didn't invent it.
Is that your only stories?
That was 3, man.
I was making sure. I was just making sure.
I could have more. All right. Yeah, let me.
Segue is what is that? Associate? Yes, associate this story with something, anything. You're getting the easy ones for once.
Are you going to use coming? Are you going to use the Putin flying school video?
For what?
Well, anything. Didn't you have a story related to it?
Yeah, but why you? I don't understand why you're asking.
Never mind. You brought it up.
Okay. In 10 years, Portugal has reduced the number of deaths by less than 7%. 0.7%. This is from SIC Noticias. And they don't tell me who wrote the story. That's just where it's from. That is a contrast with the 20% drop in the European average. So an average European country has dropped by 20%, whereas Portuguese has only dropped by 0.7%. Stagnation is clear when compared to European average. Portugal has reduced the death toll on roads by just 0.7 in the last decade, a far cry from the European average. The data is in the annual report Road Safety Performance Index (PIN) by the European Transport Safety Council, which concludes that between 2015 and 2025, the country counted 55 deaths per million inhabitants compared to only 43 in EU. That's 12 extra deaths in Portugal. No, sorry, it's Noticias. Noticias. Well, I guess that's not how you pronounce it in Portuguese. Sure, it's pronounced a different way in Portuguese. According to the ranking, which analyzed the progress of 30 European countries in the last 2 decades within the framework of its 20th anniversary, in the last 10 years, no country had reached a reduction in road deaths that exceeded 50%. However, Portugal, despite not being in the red, so they're not under, stood out for not having improved at all, really. Some countries have made less progress. In Portugal, the number of road deaths stagnated, and 4 countries recorded an increase in road deaths during the period. Malta saw a 91% increase in deaths on the road. The Netherlands increased by 22, and Ireland road deaths increased by 13. 91% increase. Don't go to Malta. Stay away from. If you go to Malta, don't go near a road. Just 100 feet away from a road at all times. As for serious injuries, the number have decreased in 18 of the 28 countries had provided data. Portugal is one of those countries when it fell by 22% during the period from 2015 to 2025. And I wish they would give me a number, but I think it's probably like per population, I guess, the percentage. So like, yeah, I'm not really sure what the actual numbers are. In 2015, Portugal recorded 486 fatalities on Portuguese roads. 10 years later, that number dropped to 448. So, little under 40 extra people are alive today in 10 years, according to data from Portuguese Road Prevention. The number is still far from the desired, which is intended to be reduced by 50% by 2030. According to experts heard by the newspaper Expresso, at the origin of the problem may be the inspection that does not work, since it's understood as a form of hunting the fine, and is still very glued to radars focused on this, especially speed. However, the causes of accidents are diverse and go beyond just speeding. According to National Road Safety Authority, ANSR, 1 in 3 drivers are killed on the road had an alcohol rate above... No, don't mention alcohol, but I can't stop drinking my joy juice. What if I kill a bunch of people on the road? And then, of course, mobile phones are the other additional factor. So it's not because people are speeding, it's because they're speeding drunk and looking at their phone. This increased the risk of an accident by 23%. And fatigue may be present from 15 to 20% of serious accidents. Fatigue, of course, being falling asleep at the wheel. When I think my last few months working at Chipotle before I moved to Europe, I had a friend, or a coworker I should say, whose girlfriend died falling asleep at the wheel. It's a very serious thing to do. If you feel tired, I mean, you said this, Rogers said this, when he feels tired, he just gets on the side of the road and takes a nap. It's better to fall asleep on the side of the road or parking in a parking lot somewhere and take a nap than to just keep on going until you get home, because you might not actually make it home. Manuel Yao Ramos, president of the Association of Self-Mobilized Citizens, said, "There is no investigation, and this makes it difficult to analyze the data more appropriately beyond the gap held to explain the failure of public policies." Although Portugal has adopted road safety plans and strategies, Manuel Yao Ramos considers that they sin because they are temporary, in the sense that they always end up dying when the minister or the government changes. This isn't my fault. This is because the government did it. There are never national strategies, they are government strategies, he told Expresso. The main recommendation of the European Transport Safety Council are to adopt and implement the safe system approach to road safety, to accelerate progress under proven strategies for monitoring road law enforcement, and to make public funds sufficient to enable the definition of measurements for this purpose, or to use the data collected to design a new strategy. Choosing measures on the basis of sound assessment studies and, where applicable, cost-effective considerations is the impact of assessment of countermeasures is another of these measures. So with all those fancy words and political words for, you guys need to actually do something instead of just going, oh, well, I mean, technically less people are dying, but it's still 800? 400 people dying every year. The fatalities that have to do with not being caught drinking while driving, not being, I guess that's the idea, they have to be stopped. They have to get taken off the road. I mean, a lot of places park police officers outside bars, right? So, where are you going? You look drunk, you're not going anywhere. And then they put them in a cop car and they drive them somewhere else to the drunk tank in their police officer or something. And that way they're not on the road crashing into people. I don't know if they can do that so much with the phone, but there's your story on the sad non-improvement, I guess, of Portugal specifically, but the improvement everywhere else. Like I said, 20% on the European average. Of course, the Netherlands has gotten worse by the same amount, so I don't know what's up with the Netherlands. I'm probably bike related, to be honest. There are some Dutch people who are saying all the immigrants moving here who are only car centric are running over bike people because they don't have any respect for. But that's an anti-immigrant stance, right? It's those different people. They don't respect the life of bikers because they're from a place where bikers don't matter. But it's just stuff I see on social media, you know. Do you have this associated with anything?
Oh, I turn my mic back on. Oh yeah, so
no, your mic is on.
Yes, I associate this with Maryland. I live in Maryland. You're talking about pulling off the road when you want to rest. Maryland, unless you're on an interstate, but a lot of their rest areas, and the majority of their rest areas are closed at night. Go figure that out. Hey, I want to pull over the rest. I get in there and it's 6 to 7 o'clock, right? And it's still open, and then I go to sleep. And here comes a cop knocking on my window. You gotta leave. What? It's a rest area and I'm resting. This is closed at night. Why? Well, we've had vandalism, blah, 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 blah. Oh, so your property is more important than all the lives I'm going to take by getting out there in the road and killing somebody because I can't stay awake on the road. That is your priorities, Maryland. You work that shit out in your own brains because I can't figure it out. Anyway, that's my association with stupid governments worried about property more than they worried about saving lives. You know, family of 12 was just killed on the highway by a tired driver, but at least the rest area saved some money. I don't know. What do you have rest areas? What are they there for? Shut them down completely. Just say, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of the fucking things. You don't want people to stay there. So why do they exist? They just put porta potties up on the side of the road for people. And just Eliminate them all together because I'm sorry. I'm on a tangent. Stop me from talking. Cut my mic or something. I don't know.
Our next story is... Yes, I have another story, and it's updates on the Putin flying school. Here, let me give you
yeah, Marilyn, stop pretending you care about people, okay? You don't... I have no idea how you're... They don't serve any purpose. I'm just sleeping during the day. Who can sleep in a car during the day? Really? It's hot. You're in air conditioning.
Our next story is from Russia, which has had a mysterious... Two generals have mysteriously died in an explosion in a restaurant, which sounds exactly like a mob hit or something. This is from Vlad Litnarovic on United 24. Two senior Russian officers, Lieutenant General Igor Yeruslimov and an unidentified Major General, have died under unexplained circumstances, with reports suggesting both may have been victims of a deadly explosion at an upscale Moscow restaurant. Militarny reported on August 6th, so it was this week, citing OSINT reporter Necromancer and Russian channel VCHK Ogupu. That's right, Necromancer. A reporter named Necromancer.
Yeah.
The day and cause of Yeruslimov's death have not been disclosed. He was buried on August 5th, but Russian authorities issued no public announcement explaining what happened to him. A notice about his funeral appeared at 5:45 p.m. the previous day in a community chat for Moscow's Solnetsevo district. The location of his burial remains are unknown. Separately, an unidentified Russian Major General was buried under intense security at Moscow's Trokyovskoye cemetery. One theory suggests the deceased officer may have been a friend of Russian Aerospace Forces Commander Alexander Chaiko and attended a gathering marking Chaiko's 55th birthday. Update. Lieutenant General Igor Yeruslimov was buried in Moscow. Earlier, BCHK OGPU reported on the Major General's burial at the Trokyovskoye cemetery in Moscow. The burial site may have been that of Alexander Chaiko, a friend of the Commander-in-Chief of Aerospace. Federal Protective Services officers guarded the cemetery from early morning while several buses carrying Rosgvardia troops were brought into the site. Parking was prohibited near the cemetery. Police officers and plainclothes personnel inspected vehicles entering the grounds, while drivers and pedestrians were required to pass through security scanners. An honor guard accompanied the procession with the flag of the Russian Aerospace Forces. A Russian ground forces flag, however, was placed beside the grave. Witnesses described the deceased as a fairly young Major General. According to Russian telegram channels, a funeral in secrecy was held in Moscow for a Major General who was possibly the friend of Russian Aerospace Forces Commander Alexander Chaiko, who attended his 55th birthday celebration. The extraordinary secrecy has fueled speculation that the two officers may have died in an August 1st explosion at Moscow's Bazy Rossi restaurant. According to pro-Russian bloggers, the private event may have also been connected to Chaiko's 55th birthday. The woman, the guard, and one restaurant visitor were reportedly killed, while another 21 people were injured. Some Russian media outlets placed the death toll at 5. Russian authorities have not publicly identified all those killed in the explosion. Other reports indicate that at the beginning of 26, Russia had lost at least 19 generals. So, was this assassination attempt? Was this a coup? Or was it Putin trying to get rid of some generals? We don't know. It's a mystery. But,
yeah, how many innocent people are going to die because Putin's an idiot? I don't know.
I don't know if they're innocent. They're part of the war machine, you know?
Well, it seems like you blow up
in the military.
You're going to get damage. Yeah. I'm gonna glean onto the necromancer portion of this. Associated with necrophilia, because I think it kind of leads into the same. You know, you're talking to dead people. You might as well, you know. And I have a joke for you. How many How many necrophiliacs does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
Why would a necrophiliac need a light bulb? Anyway.
All right, thank you for that unhinged conversation.
I'm just saying, if you're claiming to be a necromancer, which is not a thing. There's no goddamn way you're talking to dead people. You're full of shit. Anyway, if you're claiming to be that,
necromancers bring dead people back to life. That's what they do. Oh, I got taken out. Why does it keep doing this? Discord keep doing this to me. Just puts me in the sleep room.
Talk to dead people, and nobody's gonna dispute it because they can't prove I can't. Anyway, the people that say that are under suspicion of spending a lot of time with corpses.
Me either, Nico. Me either.
Hardly normal, right? I would say.
I mean, it's just their job, right? I don't like people who work in a funeral. You know.
Well, you gravitate towards that profession to be sure if you're a necrophiliac, right? Or even a necromancer.
I hope not. That's the whole problem.
Yeah, the only difference between necrophiliacs and necromancers is that we can prove that necrophiliacs are a thing, and necromancers just seem to be making shit up. So here you go.
Okay, our next segue.
All right, we got another story.
Vampires are a totally different thing.
What's the difference?
We had that weird Wednesday story about the vampire, I suppose.
Undead, right? If you were talking to somebody that's dead, they're not dead, correct? They're actually talking to you. Right. Anyway.
Our next segue is tell a joke about your news stories.
I think I sent you a video. Let's do this story about. Okay, we did the plane takeoff. We did the trunk back losers. Hold on a second. Yeah, that one is done. We're going to talk about the guardrail guy or man in charge of let's talk about the Spokane fire. Let's update that.
Oh, congratulations, Nico, on the bingo. Nico just got a bingo for...
Throw up
Congratulations. Something already plays on screen. Something already plays on screen and everything with confetti, so don't worry about it.
No, let's have a you fool for this guy here in Spokane. The guy started all these fires.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that yet. Okay, the man charged with setting devastating Spokane fire to be evaluated for competency. I don't care if he's competent to stand trial. I don't want to see this guy free for the rest of my life. If you don't give a shit about people, you're 37. He's not a child, okay? By Casey Brazell and Audia White. From the sources obp.org, opb.org. I think it's Oregon Public Broadcasting. Spokane, Washington.
Right.
Yeah, Oregon Public Broadcasting. That's who it is. The man accused of setting one of the most destructive fires in Washington State is now facing 5 counts of first-degree arson. Aaron F. Farinacci, 37, appeared in court in his arraignment Thursday after he was charged in connection with Old Trails fire. You're going to set a fire, make sure people aren't watching you, you idiot. Just don't set a fire, asshole. That fire, along with 2 others that sparked on Saturday, August 1st, have burned more than 800 buildings in Spokane County. I hope this guy has a lot of money, is all I got to say, or he has some kind of freaking way to compensate all these people. In court documents filed the night before the arraignment, investigators said Farinacci said he started 25 fires since July of 2025.
Oh, he's bragging about it, huh?
What an asshole. These cooperated 4 of those 5. They cooperated 4 of those fires and added those charges to his case. Only 4 of them. He admitted the 25, but they only added 4. Add all of them. He admitted to them, for Christ's sake. At the scheduled hearing Thursday, Farinacci's court-appointed public defender requested his client undergo a competency evaluation. The old standard, I'm under mental stress. I can't handle life, so I'm going to punish the world. Oh, I'm so unfortunate. Poor me. Come on, man. You tried 25 times to kill people. OPB has reached out. The Farinacci's appointed lawyer did not immediately reply to request for comment. If we're going to give a competency hearing to this guy, let's give a competency hearing to every convicted murderer in the history of the world. And just make sure that they get a puppy when they get to prison, and make sure they get, special privileges or whatever. Whatever happened to just good old-fashioned, just putting them in solitary confinement and treating them like shit. Because I don't know if you can reform people like this. I think it's possible to reform many people, but somebody just doesn't learn. He doesn't learn. It's not cut. He's 37, hasn't learned anything about life yet. Mental competency? Okay, whatever. And what? And what? Set him free? I don't understand. All right, anyway, at the scheduled hearing Thursday for an court defender, Spokane County Superior Judge Jeremy Schmidt signed the order for competency evaluation shortly after arraignment. A court clerk took KUOW reporter Paige Browning in the courtroom, temporarily paused his court proceedings and plea evaluation. Again, you can fool these people. You can fool them. He's 37. He's a sociopath. He's going to fool these people into thinking, oh, I'm not quite sane. You can fool them. Sociopaths are good at this. And I don't know why. Charles Manson, right? He could be Charles Manson. Right? You could be dead people in his wake.
Charles Manson did end up still getting convicted. So continue with your story.
He was convicted. I'm saying, why are we worried about if he's competent or not when he's dangerous? That should be enough. What are we trying to get away with here? Farinacci was arrested after being identified by a man driving with his grandson just before Saturday. According to police report, the man told officers he saw a person who was later identified as Farinacci standing near a set of train tracks and looking into a tree line. The man said when he drove by again, the person was still in the area and acting nervous as his vehicle approached. After returning home, the man's daughter noticed smoke from the same area where Farinacci had been spotted. Police detained this guy on Saturday about a mile away from the fire started. Farinacci told police he was coming from the Eclat area after walking a 4-mile loop. A trail he said he walks nearly every day. He's wearing a backpack, a fanny pack, shorts, and green shirt that read, "Who needs luck? I have charm," in white letters. Oh, thank you. Oh, I need charm. Oh, what a guy. Inside Farinacci's fanny pack was a pack of cigarettes, a butane lighter, and Go Fire branded rain-ready, heavy-duty, waterproof matches. You only need one lighter if you got cigarettes. The box contained 14 of the 25 matches advertised. That means 11 of them were spent. Authorities said Farinacci told the deputy of Spokane County Sheriff's Office that he used the matches to light his cigarettes when he doesn't have a lighter. However, he was released at the scene due to police not having a total facts of the incident, including the point of origin and source of the fire. He was arrested 2 days later after the old Cheryl's fire started. His bail was set at $1 million. They issued no bail for him whatsoever. And his most recent court appearance bail was raised to $2 million. Why didn't you just hold him without bail? The guy admitted to 25 fires. What are you giving him bail for? Somebody might pay that. Vladimir Putin could pay his bail, and go, yeah, go set some more fires, boy. So there's your quick story. I hope it was quick. On an idiot who is clearly not mentally competent, and I don't care. I still want him locked up for the rest of his life. I don't want him to see daylight again. I don't want him setting fires. I don't want him to have any freedom. I don't want him to have privileges. I don't even want him to have chewing gum for the rest of his life. Think of the people whose lives
you're supposed to be telling
ruined.
jokes, but it looks like you're telling the jokes.
He ruined lives. And we're all worried
Nico,
about
you're
this
so
guy
funny.
getting everything he wants. I'm sorry, go ahead, tell the jokes.
Well, Nico said, if you're going to be at arson, at least you should own it. Wear a shirt that says roof is on fire or hot stuff or something. Just imagine. I'm an arson.
Hey. I was like, but this guy raising bail to $1 million to $2 million is like, I don't know, rearranging the deck chairs on a Titanic. Did you think he could come up with $1 million? I'm sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Did you hear about the new dating app that caters to arsonists?
No, I didn't.
Every week you get a new match.
Sorry about it. Ow! Ow! Sorry about that. I accidentally hit the button by sliding. I slide my mouse on it until it triggers now. I don't know what else with that. Yeah.
What do you
Okay,
call an
next
arsonist who
story.
loves music?
I don't know.
A pyromelodic. That's more of a music joke. All right. Anyways, your next story.
Ow! Okay, that's the guardrail guy. Let's talk about flock cameras. And whatever you do not vandalize these flock cameras. It is illegal. They will arrest you. And I did not tell you to do this to any cameras. Don't blame me, because guardrail guy was just commenting on them, and he's like, "Yeah, don't destroy these." And people just went ahead and destroyed them anyway. So don't get me wrong. I don't want to be part of that lawsuit. Wired.com has the story. The guardrail guy went viral for posting about flock cameras and somebody destroyed them. Steve Elmers has racked up hundreds of thousands of followers across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. Under the moniker of Guardrail Guy, he posted about installation issues with guardrails lining roadways because of the country. I love the Guardrail Guy. The Guardrail Guy, again, if you've never seen him, he goes around looking at guardrails, which are supposed to be safety devices for when you go off the road, and show that they've been installed incorrectly, and this is going to take your fucking head off.
His daughter sadly died from a badly installed guardrail, which is why he's so dedicated to that.
I was about to cover that. He began posting about guardrails in 2022, a few years after his 17-year-old daughter, Hannah, was killed she collided with a guardrail that pierced through her car rather than gliding back to the road. Hire people with absolutely no brains to install these. They don't ask questions. They just go ahead and finish the job.
Or they just don't even understand the responsibility of what they're installing, like why it's important that they're installing it, right? They have no clue.
Yeah, we're always checking, again, and nobody inspects them. That's the worst part, right? Nobody inspects them. Nobody. You'd think the highway department would have a team of people just going around doing it. No, some private citizen has to do it. Shame on these people. Shame on them. In April, Elmers began posting about another hallmark of American roads, automatic license plate readers, which again are arresting people based on misreading license plates, or from the wrong state, the letter's wrong, everything's wrong in some cases. ALPRs sold by companies like Flock. ALPRs, of course, means automatic license plate readers. Sold by companies like Flock and Axon, use mounted cameras to capture vehicular data, which can be used to track people suspected of committing crimes. I said Elmers. I suspected. Again, we're going to kick your door down, arrest you. Oh, wrong person. Oh, sorry, we shot your dog. Wrong person. Eimers expanded his safety advocacy because he believes ALPRs may pose serious risks to passengers in the event of a crash. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, that is true. That is true. His claim is that many ALPRs are installed too close to guardrails, which undermines their functionality, or are placed on existing road signs, which can negate the ability of breakaway posts to function safely upon impact. Yeah, we put this flock camera on a road sign, which is close to the road, and we put a reinforced steel bar there instead of that breakaway.
Now your car.
Go straight through into the engine compartment, into your head. Again, just making roadways for what? To what? Capture the wrong people by reading their license plate. That's what you've done. And of course, don't forget the traffic tickets they collect, right? The money from that, the revenue from getting money out of poor people for going 3 miles over the speed limit or hitting a red light at the wrong time. It says just turned red. Awful. The videos about ALPRs touching their devices have become increasingly controversial, and cities across the country are weighing their effectiveness against the risk of misuse. So we also have cops who have been misusing it to track people they want to stalk for sex, men and women. Though Elmer's videos focused on whether the cameras were crash-worthy, many commenters believe the cameras were invasive and represented a quiet expansion of mass surveillance in their own neighborhoods. Eimers noted with alarm that an increasing number of people were telling him to destroy the cameras, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to break the law. I don't like spending time in jail, and I know it's illegal. I do know that. I know the difference between illegal and legal. Others wanted to know the exact location of the cameras in his post. Figure it out for yourself, clowns. And suggested that they contain metals like gold, silver, and copper. Yeah, I see this in comments all the time. Did you know there's a lot of platinum in those? Just getting all the, the crackheads and the tweakers to take them down for the precious metals.
Yes, there's copper, a lot of copper in there, yeah.
Sneakiness is snarkiness. There's probably almost no copper in it at all. There's probably silver in the contacts. They ain't worth it. You're going to go to jail for a long time. You're going to retrieve almost no copper. It's not true. Large diameter pipe cutter, read the comment on video on the post on July 24th. If you're doing this for the copper, you're going to jail for nothing. I'm just letting you know. Accompanied by the picture of a large diameter pipe cutter. Nice and quiet, cuts like butter. Yeah, there's not a lot of copper. There might be copper in a ground wire. That's about all you're going to get, if there is a ground wire. I don't think they even ground these things. On July 22nd, Eimers posted that Flock, perhaps the most recognized ALPR brand in the country, had committed to conducting a nationwide audit of camera installations. Eimers included a video of local Flock camera, which he also posted about the previous day. Garrett Langley, the company's CEO, quote, tweeted at Eimers, who he called the true American hero. On July 25th, Eimers says he was driving home with one of his daughters when he came across the camera. From one of his posts, he was taken aback. It was severely damaged. It tells Wired it looked like it had been shot. Yeah, that's what happens. A couple of miles down the road, he passed another Flock camera that had been documented on a TikTok video back in May. It was similarly damaged. Eimers made a decision. He was halting all ALPR-related advocacy work indefinitely. Eimers says that seeing cameras left him feeling a little bit shell-shocked. He says they demonstrate what he sees as an alarming surge in negative sentiment towards Flock and all other ALPR companies. I just haven't seen or experienced what I've experienced over the last few months with the escalation ever with any kind of guardrail advocacy work. Eimers says, adding that he doesn't want to feed the trolls. I don't know if we're all trolls. I will remind Eimers that the United States currently has roving bands of masked thugs masquerading as government agents going through towns arresting people. And they may be using these Flock cameras to identify people who have done nothing wrong, and they're just going to lock them up and charge them with shit maybe a couple of years from now. So again, Flock cameras are invasive. They should not be anywhere in your neighborhood. The ones that try to catch people speeding are just there to keep rich people from paying taxes. Only reason speed limits exist at all, the only reason parking tickets exist at all, is to keep rich people from paying taxes. Do not destroy these cameras. Do not destroy these cameras. Do not destroy these cameras. I cannot emphasize enough. Do not destroy these cameras. I'm not that guy. Let's have us a joke.
Do not. Yeah, I actually know. I know exactly what you're talking about. The short you're talking about. I've seen an exact one where it was like a guy completely face covered and everything. I was like, this is an example of how easy it is to take down a Flock camera on my property. This is my own reinforced steel bar, And he takes like and he's like, I do not advise you to buy a pipe cutter to cut the pipe in half and let it fall on the floor. And it's something like that.
Yeah, do not film yourself doing it. That is going to lead
that's what he said. I am doing this on my private property, is what he said. This is me taking down.
Okay.
That's what he said.
If he can verify that that's true, that's great.
This is my camera that I'm taking down on my private property.
Do not damage these. Do not damage these. Don't come back at me if you do, because I did not tell you to damage these.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I don't have to worry about this because it's not a problem where I live. So
you don't think so? They don't have. They don't. Invasive cameras that you know.
No, the only invasive cameras I can think of are the no, because we have actually really stringent privacy laws here. Like you can't have a child in your video because you can get sued.
It's not a word, but stringent is. Anyway, sorry. Did you tell the joke or did I miss it? Or
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Allowed to what? Tell a joke? What do you mean?
Yeah, I was just trying to say that we have those Ring cameras on people's doors, right? That's the closest we get. Where I'm just private. Like, we're not living in a... Well, some of them are stored on a server by the company, and so I don't know what the company's doing with that footage. Yeah.
Right. You're leaving it up to them to what they do with the footage, which is scary enough, right? That's as scary as the government knowing what you're doing. A private corporation has no checks and balances on a private corporation, especially if they're in another country.
Yeah, my camera flunked history.
And Ring cameras are part of this too, by the way, because the police can access all Ring cameras anytime they want to. In the United States, anyway.
My camera flunked history. I kept forgetting to save clips.
Oh! It should have taken clips notes.
My camera loves dad jokes. It records them in 4K grown resolution.
Oh.
Grown, Why did the camera refuse coffee?
I don't know.
They already had a jitter connection.
Jitter. All right, that's enough of that. That is enough.
All right, let's roll our next segue. What is a flock camera? Oh, see, Nico doesn't even know what a flock camera is. Okay, so basically...
Flock company. It's just...
Yeah, it's you know how America is, a brand name comes out and then you start calling everything that is even similar to it the brand name instead of the actual physical thing. It's a surveillance camera. Flock is selling these, I think, probably to private or public, maybe to the government. I don't really know the full
local government,
yes,
state governments, and federal government buy these things and install them. And
what are they, like a 10-foot pole or something, a 7-foot pole with a camera?
Anywhere.
Yeah, it's a very small camera that's running on solar energy or something, and so that they don't go off power, right? So they're always on, and they're just surveilling you, and yeah, and people are being found guilty, right? Like somebody's footage. I think that's what you're referencing, right? Woman seen on flock camera, and the police went to investigate her and ended up killing her dog instead of doing their job. Yeah. They just
the police.
Have you ever watched the movie Minority Report?
Stalking, right? If you know what a camera are, her
police officers are using them to stalk people. Yeah, that's right. We did a story on that. Yeah.
Here, I'm a cop sitting at my desk and I'm stalking this woman I want to date, right? I pulled her over. She refused my advances, but I got her home address. So now I can watch her leave home and I can pull her over again
outside her neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till she gets to a dark part of town and pull her over and rape her. But
this is a lot like Minority Report, which if you haven't seen the film Minority Report, it's this idea that they have psychics who predict who is going to do crimes in the future. So they arrest you before you've done the crime. Yeah. So, but the idea, that's why people are not, and that whole movie is basically a metaphor for being anti-surveillance, because the problem with surveillance is that people use that as a power tool to control you. So that's why flock cameras are bad, because if they're always watching you, then everything you do is a crime, or in some cases, what you didn't do is a crime because you could have done a crime. They just assume you're guilty which is not how the justice system in America is supposed to work. It's supposed to be innocent until guilty, not, well, we saw you at the scene of the crime, so you must be guilty, and now we're going to, SWAT your house.
In case you think I'm operating from a vacuum on this, I worked with
the UK has famously always had CCTV, is what it's called in the UK. So, for decades.
In case you're worried about speaking from a vacuum or life experience on this subject, I worked with law enforcement on the federal, state, local, all levels. So it means I worked with cops in person. And I can verify this. State, local, federal, it doesn't matter. They do not respect your rights. They don't even think you have rights. This is a very common thing in cops. They can't wait, lock you up or whatever the hell they got to do. And I don't know what to do about that. That's why they became cops. They want to punish people, whether they've done anything wrong or not. They want to catch people doing shit wrong and punish them. It's kind of in their DNA, I think. Why do you become a cop? Think about it. But anyways, so it's not a vacuum I'm coming from. Oh, those liberals and their silly rights. I heard this all the time. All the time. And again, let's go 1992 to 2000, a couple years ago. 2024. That's a long time to work with law enforcement and listen to their BS all the time. So don't tell me I'm working in a vacuum. Anywho, just throwing my credentials out there. Not that they're real credentials, just anecdotal, but it's just my life experience. That's all. Very.
Our next segue is non sequitur. Wait, you've already
non sequitur. New spin. Anomaly at Limerick. I shouldn't ask, right? That's okay. It's Friday.
Hypothetical.
Okay.
So this is my culture news coming out of Italy. So here's some good news. That isn't all doom and gloom here on Friday. Coming from Ilaria Federico on Euronews Culture. Italy is extending the opening hours of some of its most famous monuments during August in a pilot program aimed at improving visitor access and easing summer crowds. The Colosseum, the Pantheon, and Milan Castello's Sforzacco will remain open at night. Fancy visiting the Colosseum after sunset? This August, some of Italy's most famous monuments will stay open later as Rome and Milan test extended opening hours during one of the busiest periods of tourist season. For anybody who doesn't know, a lot of Europeans go on holiday in August because that's actually usually when European children are off school for like 6 weeks. So a lot of people with children go on holiday in August and early September, and then they back to school right after that. The month-long pilot, launched by the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Tourism, and the City of Milan, aims to make visits more comfortable during the summer heat while helping spread crowds more evenly throughout the day. For now, the project covers 3 landmarks: the Rome's Colosseum and Pantheon, alongside Milan's Castello Sforzacco. Visitors will be able to explore the Colosseum Friday and Saturday evenings from 19 to 23, which would be 7:45 and 11:30, while the Pantheon will remain open from 7 to 11. Every day except Thursday. So you can go to the Pantheon every day until 11, except for Thursdays. In Milan, the Castello Sforzacco will extend its daily opening hours until 7:30 or 19:30, 2 hours later than usual. Beyond offering extra time to explore, the trial is intended to improve the overall visitor experience by encouraging evening visits when temperatures are cooler and the sites are generally less crowded. Officials will also use the pilot to assess whether later opening hours could become a longer-term tool for managing tourism at Italy's busiest heritage sites. For Cultural Minister Alessandro Giului, the initiative is about more than extending visiting hours. He said the evening openings offer a different way to experience 2 of Italy's most recognizable monuments while making them more accessible to the public. The project also reflects the growing importance of cultural tourism in Italy. According to Tourism Minister Gianmarco Mazzi, culture has become the country's main reason for travel, overtaking more traditional motivations over the past decade. According to the ISNART, the National Institute for Tourism Research, culture has become the leading reason for traveling to Italy since 2026, rising from the 7th to the 1st place in just 10 years. This is why we are giving the highest priority to cultural tourism, exploring the growth potential of the sector that already contributes 58 billion euros in visitor spending to the national economy. In Milan, the extended opening hours build on a broader rise in museum attendance. The Castello Sforzacco welcomed around 500,000 visitors over the past year, while annual visits across the city's civic museum have increased from 1.3 million in 2019 to 1.7 million. Throughout August, visitors were able to take advantage of reduced price tickets to the Museum of Ancient Art, Michelangelo's Rodanini Pietà, and the exhibition Passion e Diciendo, which brings together works spanning from Leonardo da Vinci to Keith Haring. If the August trial proves successful, the model could be extended to other major heritage sites across Italy, offering a new approach to balancing visitor demand with the access to the country's cultural treasures. So there's your good news. If you want to get some nighttime visits in Italy, go now, I guess, this month, if you don't already have your tickets booked, I guess.
There?
Yes, they have air conditioning in Italy.
Well, there you go. You got it solved. You got air conditioning. It's warm. It's warm in America in the summer. Why the hell? Yeah, it's hotter here for sure. I guarantee it. Like in the desert. Right?
I guess that's your non sequitur. We're talking about air conditioning.
No, why not?
That's my story.
It's hypothetical. I have a hypothetical, not a
yeah, you're right. Right, you're hypothetical.
When I think of Milan, what do you think of when you think of Milan? I know what I think of.
Fashion shows.
I think of scooters. Really? So my hypothetical is, because of scooters, I don't know, back in the 60s, and I got this from Pete Townsend, by the way. This is why, and I think of the movie Quadrophenia, because back in the day, they had England, they had the mods and the rockers, and the mods, right, they combined what did Pete Townsend said? He said, they combined the music of England and the fashion of Paris and the scooters from Milan, is what he said. So when I think of Milan, I think of scooters. And my hypotheticals is, what if electric scooters became the dominant form of urban transit, which should be a thing. It should be the only thing in the city. They should be not cars, unless it's, got to take a group of people.
I wish they were quieter, though. Scooters are really loud.
Electric scooters make no noise, so there you go.
Yeah. And the problem is, I don't think there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Again, scooters don't use gas. They get 100 miles a gallon, and they're two-stroke engines. It's like up and down, up and up, up and down, up and down. That's
true.
Yeah. So that's the little hypothetical.
I think we did maybe last month. We did a story actually about the scooter festival in Rome, where they all collected together and brought their different themed scooters.
I can't believe e-bikes have not taken over the world. I just cannot believe this is not already.
Yeah, sadly, they've only taken over places that were people already biking.
There's a business opportunity out there. There's a major government opportunity there to.
You can't sell oil to bike companies.
Sure you can. Everything needs lubrication. Everything. Bikes need lubrication. They need oil.
Yeah, but they don't need as much oil as a car does.
Bike. Whatever. Nobody's telling us not to use oil anymore. You just need to stop burning it. That's the only thing.
The Segway is our accurate metaphor and simile for this day in history.
All right. Home, the National Day Center. Let's talk about this day in history. I did send you a video related to this day in history, and we're going to go back all the way to, to Hungary. Just in case you were hungry for some Hungarian news. Bad pun. Hungary, Countess Elizabeth Bathory was born in this day in 1560. If you don't know who she is, she's not Madame Bathory or whatever. That's a different person. During her lifetime, she was accused of torturing and murdering more than 600 young women. Through modern scholarship has questioned these claims. Okay. The people back then were wrong, but all of us people in modern days are right. Okay, sure, why not? I have no idea. Never heard of her. 1782, George Washington ordered the creation of the first U.S. military decoration, a badge of military merit. Today it's called the Purple Heart, which was later awarded to 3 Revolutionary War soldiers for bravery in action. Now it's only awarded to people who get wounded in action. 1819, a group of South American insurgents under Simón Bolívar defeated Spanish forces at the Battle of Boyacá, which freed New Grenada, which is now called Colombia and Venezuela, from Spanish control. Happy, glorious day for Simón Bolívar, the most famous, what we call patriot in South America, I guess. He fought for the freedom
Boesa?
of all. What?
I think it's Boesa.
Who? Who's
Battle of
Boesa?
Boesa. You couldn't say the word.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. All right. 1876, Mata Hari, the spy. She was born today in
Leeuwarden,
Netherlands. She was born in she's Dutch. She's Dutch, and she was a spy. She was executed. In 1888, the first of the murders committed by Jack the Ripper took place in East End. They never actually identified him, but it's widely suspected he was
a politician.
He was an aristocrat. Well, you can say politician, but it's a politician aristocrat. There's no difference between the two in 1888.
In the UK, yeah.
Aristocrats were the politicians. They ran everything. So aristocrat was killing prostitutes because they literally get away with murder, don't they? 1905, Swadeshi movement was formally launched in Calcutta, which is not called Calcutta, it's called Kolkata now, which to me sounds exactly the same, so I don't give a shit. The anti-colonial agitation in British India. It was the first organized mass collective action in the Indian independence movement. Again, Britannica wants me to pronounce Calcutta as Kolkata, and I don't even see the difference. It's just another way to pronounce it. Tomato, tomato. Doesn't matter. 1932, Abedi Bakili, the first athlete to win 2 Olympic marathons, is born in Jato, Ethiopia. Oh, yeah. You know what else happened this week that I kind of missed was a British guy set the world mile record. He broke the record for the mile, and he broke it by 3 whole seconds. And that record has existed for a long time. And why has it existed for a long time? Because nobody runs the mile anymore. They run 1,500 meters.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, they ran the mile the other day, and they had a whole bunch of 1,500 meters guys run it, and the British guy broke the record by 3 seconds. That's really amazing. In fact, the guy who finished second, the American who finished second, also broke the record, which tells you how often they run this race. Mm-hmm. Say it. A totally fake record that England is waving their flags over this week. Sorry, UK. I love you, UK. You know I'm an English by extraction, but you got to stop claiming records that don't exist. There is no mile run in the Olympics anymore. They don't do it. They do 1,500 meters. Anyhow, that's why the record has existed for so long, because nobody runs it. 1943. Hazel Ying Lee, one of the first Chinese-American women to earn a pilot's license, graduated from Women Air Force Service Pilots Program that qualified for several types of U.S. military airplanes. 1943 seems rather early to be a Chinese-American flying a plane for the United States, right? Hats off to her for not letting anything stand in her way. Hazel Ying Lee, a true patriot, fighting for a country that hates her guts because of her. I'm just saying. Oh, you're Japanese. No, I'm Chinese. Damn it. Anyway, I'm just saying. Xenophobia. Basically, the only thing driving our politics, at least the Republican Party in this country, since, I don't even know, my entire life. 1948, at the Olympics in London, track and field athlete Fanny Blankers-Cohen, there's a lot of Olympic news today, who was pregnant with her 3rd child. Don't forget, women weren't allowed to run because they thought their junk was going to fall out or something. Oh my God, your uterus is on the ground! Anyway, she was pregnant with her 3rd child, helped the Dutch team win the 4x100 relay, becoming the first woman to capture 4 gold medals in single games. She earlier had won 100 meters, 200 meters, and the 800 meter hurdles, and she cheated. She did cheat. She had more of those hormones that allow for flexibility in her body. She probably shouldn't have been allowed to compete, to tell you the truth. It's 2 against 1.
Tell that to Michael Phelps.
Well, I'm just saying, it's 2 against 1. I'm making a joke, and lighten up. Oliver Hardy died on this day. Laurel and Hardy. We're proud to present this Laurel and Hardy handshake to our new, the joke from Blazing Saddles that a lot of young people don't get is the Laurel and Hardy handshake. The first great Hollywood motion picture comedy team, Laurel and Hardy. But this day, and the bigger one, the big guy, was Fat Guy, Skinny Guy comic team. The big guy, Oliver Hardy, died in this day in 1957, way after his fame. In 1960, Côte de I have no idea how to pronounce French name. They should give me some kind of pronunciation, guy. Gained independence from France.
It's the Ivory Coast.
No,
it's the English. It's the English. Just say Ivory Coast. The English.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Britannica, for making me look like an idiot. 1974, French-born Philippe Petit walked in a high wire between the newly built Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. About 1,350 feet. I don't know how many Empire State Buildings that is. I think it's 2.5 or 1.5. He was arrested. The charges were later dropped. 1978, U.S. President Carter declared federal health emergency at Love Canal, a neighborhood in Niagara Falls, New York, following a leakage of toxic chemicals buried in the community. It was the worst environmental disaster involving chemicals waste in United States history. It just further re-emphasized the fact that corporations don't give a shit about you as long as they're making money. They will hide everything they're doing wrong to the community that's supporting them and giving them tax breaks to be there and all that great shit. And they're poisoning your groundwater. Congratulations, idiots. And I was going to post a video about this, but the video I saw infuriated me, so I didn't post it. The clickbait title, it said, "The worst disaster you've never heard of." I'm like, I've heard of Love Canal. And if you haven't heard of Love Canal, I don't know, read a book. Love Canal. And another example of corporate malfeasance, and we have zillions of them. 2007, American baseball player Barry Bonds hit his 756th career home run. This was now 19 years ago, breaking the record set by Hank Aaron. He's still not in the Hall of Fame because he used steroids, unlike every other player in the history of baseball who never tried to get an advantage. Barry Bonds was the only one. So American sports writers hate Barry Bonds. That's basically what it boils down to. They just hate him. They also hate Roger Clemens and a couple other players, but he's the one they hate the most. 2015, American golfer Louis Suggs, a pioneer of women's golf, who co-founded the Ladies Professional Golf Association along with Babe Dietrich's Arias, and won 61 career LPA tournament. Why not found a league where you can win all the time? I would do that. Anyway, she died at the age of 91 on this day in 2015. A long, healthy life of playing golf. There's a dream existence, huh? Today in 1420, the feud behind Florence is, we're going back to Italy. On this day, not Milan, but Florence, on this day, 1420, construction began in the iconic dome of the Florence Cathedral, where it's probably very hot there right now. Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, the massive structure was engineering breakthrough, built without a traditional wooden scaffolding. Brunelleschi's bitter rivalry with Lorenzo Caparti shaped the project, and after reportedly exposing his rival's inability to direct the work, Brunelleschi became the dome's sole architect and earned lasting fame. Don't know what happened to the other guy. He got unlasting fame, I guess. I don't know. On this day in 42, yeah, the Allies were making gains against the Japanese on this day in 1942, and the Allies' first major offensive in the Pacific theater during World War II, U.S. Marines. On this date, did I mention I was in the Marines? Get the bingo cards. Landed on Guadalcanal and captured the airfield from Japan, sparking a battle that lasted some 6 months. Again, you captured the airfield, which was the easy part, but all of the Japanese are dug into the side of the hill. Yeah, they're living in tunnels. It's going to take a long time to defeat that. And it did. 6 months. Same thing happened at every island they hopped onto. They took the airfield, and then they had to go, oh shit, we're going to get constant guerrilla attacks from the tunnels, because that's where eventually it became a war of attrition. You starve them out, you bomb them out, whatever. War sucks. What can I say? Featured biography is Emil Nolde, born on this day, 1867. Emil was a leading German expressionist painter, printmaker and watercolorist. Don't forget Germany got wealth because they came up with dyes. That was the secret to their wealth. A lot of people got wealthy, became nobility and stuff like that. Notable violent religious works and foreboding landscapes. So oh my God, violent religious works and foreboding landscapes was later called degenerate by the Nazis. Oh boy, it must have been good because the Nazis hated it. It looks like Picasso if Picasso did nothing but porn and animal porn, as it looks like to me. But there you go with that. Other famous birthdays today, we'll slam through these. Famous birthdays. I like this because it does handle the people who are still alive and contemporary. The Britannica tends to focus on way back in the past. It is Jalen Hurts' birthday, Super Bowl champion, NFL quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's turning 28. Actor Sasha Akali, born in 1995, turned 31. And Major League Baseball player Mike Trout, who's age 35. Wow, he's spent his whole career with the Angels, losing more. He'll go into the Hall of Fame as a guy that just never got anywhere near a title, unless he gets traded somewhere. NHL player Sidney Crosby, another older guy, turning 39. I think he's still playing. He's 39. So you get these old guys still playing. Actor Abby Cornish turning 44. Actor Eric Johnson turning 47. Actress or actor, whatever you want to call it, Charlize Theron, South African. Born in 1975, she was turning 51. Actor Michael Shannon was pretty good. He's in a lot of good stuff. Born in 1952. He was in Boardwalk Empire, as a matter of fact. We brought that up earlier. That's a hell of a coincidence. Actor David Duchovny, The X-Files, turned 66. Musician Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, not the Christopher Walken character from the More Cowbell, not that Bruce Dickinson, the Cock of the Walk, that Bruce Dickinson. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like all of you. The only difference is when I put my pants on, I go make hit records. Now more cowbell. I want that cowbell. Not that Bruce Dickinson, the Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, who finally made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Finally.
My contention is Spinal Tap is modeled totally on Iron Maiden because Christopher Guest looks just like Bruce Dickinson. They're a spitting image. Actor Wayne Knight, birthday, born in 1945. Minnesota Supreme Court Justice Football Hall of Famer Alan Page. Yeah, he was a defensive lineman, went on to become a lawyer and a judge, and he's a member of the Minnesota Supreme Court. He turned 81 today. I don't know if he's still on the Supreme Court, but happy birthday to him either way. Robert Mueller, who died recently, former Marine, and the guy who tried to prosecute Trump, but was cut off by his Attorney General. Anyway, Robert Mueller died in 1944, died, I think, earlier this year or late last year, I don't remember. Humorist Garrison Keillor, who did Woe Begone Days and used to have a PBS show, turning 84. I think he was taken off for some reason, I'm not sure. Actor Carl Switzer, born in 1927. Diplomat Nobel Prize winner Ralph Bunche, born in 1904. And we did Mata Hari. Happy birthday to Mata Hari. That's it for their birthdays, national days. Let's hope it's not too many. It's National
David
Lighthouse
Duchovny from what is that name?
David Duchovny from X-Files. I mentioned his name.
Yeah,
and you
X-Files.
pronounced it right.
Yeah.
You pronounced his name right.
And Charlize Theron as well. Charlize Theron was in the most recent.
Charlize Theron, covered that.
Yeah.
Covered that. I am not missing these days. That's pretty nice. National Day calendar. It's Purple Heart Day. We covered that. National Lighthouse Day. Maryland has a lot of lighthouses.
A lot of it, yeah. It's on the coast. Yeah.
Many lighthouses. Very, very tourable lighthouses, too. There's one down here at Point Lookout. National Raspberries and Cream Day. My raspberries. Well, I don't actually have raspberries.
I don't know if I've ever had raspberries with cream.
Yeah, cream. Any berries with cream. Just good. Of course, the raspberries with cream also has blackberries. Blackberries, probably one of your better berries. National Water Balloon Day, National Sea Serpent Day. Those kind of go together. If you go a water balloon shaped like a sea serpent, I don't know. Those are all your days, your mispronunciations. No limericks, no alliterations, and no haikus, but whatever. Everything else but your news dump for Friday. And again, the train is in the station for Friday. Get all your belongings, your kids, your pets. Nobody left anything. Your umbrellas for sure. Take your umbrellas. We don't want your umbrellas. We get too many umbrellas. Mary Poppins has raided our shop. We had so many umbrellas. So don't leave your stuff on the bed. That's it for the week. For August 7th, 2026, on Before Raspberries and Cream. And watch out for those water balloons.
Don't get hit by a water balloon.
Or get hit by one.
That. Oh.
Nah, it's hot, man. I might feel good. If you got water balloons and water guns, you got yourself a party, my friends.
Party with berries.
Right on. Let's have the whatchamacallit, so we can shut off the power to the train.
The dome in Florence was a shell of pearl-shaped memory. There you go. Your mixed metaphor.
Okay. Mixed. Did you have mixed in your first one? Go ahead.
That wasn't a mixed metaphor. Sorry, accurate metaphor. No, I already did mixed metaphor.
Okay, gotcha. All right. You had accurate. I'm lost. All right.
German expressionism is like a thunderstorm in a wooden puppet theater. There you go. A wooden puppet theater. Have you ever been to one of those? I've never seen one. I've always seen them in movies. I never see them in actual.
No, but if I want to see a puppet, I'll just watch Trump.
Well, I mean more like a funny comedy wooden puppet theater, you know, like where it's like... Yeah, like I said, I've only seen it in movie shows, I assume.
Yeah.
For lighthouses are beacons on the shore that flash honor to the chest of the sea. There you go. There's your very long metaphor for lighthouses. It's also International UN Observance of World Indigenous Peoples Day. That's right. There are people who are from a place, and they've always been that place at least for, I don't know, 5,000 years or something. And then a bunch of other people came in and said, hey, what you're doing is wrong, and we're going to change you, and here's some religion.
Yeah,
Or they get them sick with smallpox and kill them all. You know, something like that happens. So let's celebrate the people who are still here. They have not been erased. Their culture hasn't been completely destroyed. Their language is still alive for now. And value the practices and forms of care that have been developed by all humans, not just the ones that had guns at the time were able to kill everyone else. Indigenous midwifery is a powerful expression of these knowledge systems, supporting the transmission of knowledge, strengthening cultural identity, and ensuring the continuity of Indigenous peoples' way of life. Yep, the wise woman, the wise man, the cultural markers that are kept alive. So if you would like to, you can go to, there is an online event starting at, wait, I need to do math. What time is it now? For you?
8:30.
Okay, well, starting right now, right after the show, you can go to the online UN event. It's starting right now in 7 minutes, in which you can see people talk about Indigenous community and how they're appropriately approaching health and well-being and all the policy pathways the UN is working. You know, it's a bunch of, tooting their own horn, being like, we're working to help Indigenous people around the world. So that's happening in 7 minutes.
We call all kinds of nations for people, but we don't create nations for Indigenous people. Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah. You can find it on, let's see. It just says online. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says it's online. So I guess just look up Indigenous Peoples Day UN online, and then hopefully you can. I clicked the link, but it just says It just says that. Oh, I guess it's on Zoom. So, I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah. Download Zoom to see it. Now it's
No
going to
idea.
come.
Now it's getting complicated. This has been Alison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US, as we finish up another week, our first week of August. The end of the summer is coming. Oh, so sad. It's going to be cold again. For me, anyway,
Yeah.
it's sad. We will see you.
I feel cool about now.
We'll see you on Mucking Fun Day for all the news you might have missed over the weekend, so you do not have to doom scroll. We'll do it for you. Go have a nice and carefree, stress-free weekend. And if you work on over the weekend, still don't doom scroll. And don't forget to follow us on Before Coffee Podcast, or on YouTube and YouTube and Twitch. And thank you everyone supporting us on the Before Coffee supporter tier on Patreon. Here is our high-flung mic drop moment.
It started out as another routine morning for a New York helicopter traffic reporter, but he had more to tell his radio listeners than how the traffic was on the West Side Highway.
1974.
I'll tell you what, I have a very queasy feeling in my stomach right now because I'm at, let's see, 1,500 feet. And up here at 1,500 feet, or in that area, there is somebody out there in a tightrope walk between the two towers of the World Trade Center, right at the tippy top.
That somebody was Philippe Petit, a 24-year-old Frenchman, doing his higher wire act 1,350 feet up and no net below. He and some associates managed to hide out in the World Trade Center towers overnight, and early this morning rigged a 140-foot steel cable between the two buildings using some sort of crossbow device. Petit enthralled hundreds of people below, prancing about for more than an hour. But police in the audience decided Petit was better off in a police station, handcuffed securely to a chair. Why did you do this?
That's the thousand why in this morning. There is no why. Just because when I see a beautiful place to put my wire, I cannot resist.
Sergeant Charles Daniels, who talked Petit off the high wire, called it a first-rate performance.
Talked him off it like he was
bouncing up and down. His feet were actually leaving the wire, and then he would resettle back on the wire again. And then he would go down on one knee, and he'd balance his hand pole and lay down on his back and put his hands behind his neck and just completely relax and swing one of his legs over the wire in a carefree manner.
Was he laughing and smiling?
Well, not when he would do that. He would just lay there and relax as if he wanted to just take a little nap.
As spectacular sights go, how would you rate this one?
just to take a little nap.
Supreme. The apex of excitement.
Petit was charged with disorderly conduct and criminal trespass and received a quick sentence, doing a free show for children in Central Park. Chris Kelly, CBS News, New York.
There we go.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.